All right. Welcome to Wake and Bake Wednesday.
It's the come up, y'all.
We're going to kick it off with an Om.
Yes, we are.
Join us.
I don't know what the fuck is going on. I have no idea what's going on, y'all. That's what it is. That's what we're doing.
That was such a good breath play. It was like right at the... I was waiting for the inhale from Cass.
Yeah.
Just went straight into it.
She's like, okay, we're going to go.
I had to really jump in there. Sorry about that. You got the last, you got like hanging on.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a good sound for me.
We'll nail it as we move forward, you know.
That was a nail. We nailed it. Whatever that was, we nailed it.
There is no nailing it. Whatever we do is us nailing it.
Totally.
It's been nailed. I'll nail you.
Okay, let's go into the week, yeah?
Yeah,
let's
please.
do it.
Yeah, I fucked up because I just thought we were going to play it after the Om. So I didn't think of closing it up.
It's not my favorite episode already.
Totally.
So
We're going to, when Cass is directing and she's jacked up on coffee, you know, and not listening to, like, we're like, here's what we're going to do.
it's the best.
Yeah, it's
so
pretty
Wednesday is about Mercury, Hermes Day, miscommunications or communications, either side of that coin, language. We're in Mercury retrograde right now. When you're hearing this, we will be out. Thank the goddesses.
Why does everyone always reference that as like, oh, we must be in Mercury retrograde? Like,
Yeah, because Mercury in retrograde, when he does his moonwalk, likes to reassess how we haven't been good at communication and how we haven't been good at language and how we could be better with it, really.
are you fucking kidding me?
No.
Of course, this is a perfect start to this.
Oh, yeah.
To this,
yeah, it was like,
episode.
yeah.
That was so funny because yesterday you kept like trying to get breakfast and it just kept not happening.
Oh, yeah.
Holy
So
shit.
many. Well, even Noah on his podcast was like, this is the biggest Mercury retrograde I've ever felt in my life. And I feel the same way about this one. Every day there's been some like, snafu.
You kind of just got to laugh about it though,
You have
right?
to laugh.
But it's worth the effort, you know, learning how to communicate, trying to traverse the waters of poor communication and say, like, I'm going to show up again.
Totally.
Yeah.
You know, you're worth it, even though you're fucking annoying right now or whatever it is, you know?
I am worth it. Even though
I'm going to read this really cool Orphic hymn for Hermes. Bear with me.
This book is fucking killer.
This book is really killer.
This is like a very special treat.
Frankincense is the incense, too, that Hermes loves, too, if you want to burn that today on Wednesdays for your shadow work. Hear me, Hermes, herald of Zeus and son of Maya, having an almighty heart, the lord of contests and guide of mortals, kind and clever messenger of the gods and slayer of Argos. With your winged feet, you are friend to humans, and you are a prophet of the world to mortals. You delight in exercise, in deceit and trickery, and you wear the sacred band. Interpreter of all, you preside over the profits of business, driving off all of our cares, you who hold in our hands the blameless weapon of peace. Blessed God of Corycos, bringer of good luck with many stories, helper in business and friend to mortals in need, you possess the venerable and dreadful weapon of language. Hear me in my prayers and bring a noble end to life and deeds, and graceful remembrances of reputation.
Beautiful. Damn, who pulled down those words?
Right? I only messed up a couple of them, too.
It sounded perfect
No, you
to
said
me.
it great.
No, it's crazy because language is one of those things that you feel like, what would life be without language? But life has existed before language. Life does exist when you don't use language. You know, I've always...
Communication certainly does.
Yeah, no, totally.
Almost more potent.
Yeah, and learning to communicate with people who maybe like to use language, like to use body language. There's all different
Yeah, there's a lot of language beyond the vocab language that we use. And I
Yeah.
think that our dynamic brings that out more than anything,
Yeah.
really, because we have so much communication that's beyond language. And it's almost like when we have to pull it down to the primitive realm of talking, it's like, really, we have to go here?
I
Like,
know.
It's always me. I'm like, excuse me, but
I
I'm
know.
sorry. But you guys force my hand because when you guys are fucking being little bitches, I'm like,
Yeah.
we're going to have to bring it to primitive language because I need to move this energy, motherfuckers.
Yeah, I think you're less embarrassed to go there. You know,
Yeah.
it's almost like oh man, we got to take it down to like I don't know. I never even considered this before psychedelics.
Right.
But the idea that language is actually fucking super crude
yeah.
form of communicating,
Yeah.
and even people that really know how to wax poetic, there's so much that's lost.
It's so limited. It's so
Yeah.
fractured, you know.
Yeah.
It's always bits and pieces of the picture, never the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we keep this in mind, like as we go throughout a Mercury ruled day? Like,
Yeah, and kind of a shadow work day we wanted Wednesdays to be kind of
Yeah.
geared towards too. And I think language of shadow work is one of the most important angles to look at because language is how we deceive ourselves. And of course, shadow work is how do we get out of those self-deceptive things? How do we
Right.
crawl out of our underground denial bunkers, as I like to call them, right?
Yeah.
yeah, because we're using language to tell it. We're using language to tell a story about ourselves. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
okay, it's Wednesday. You're like, well, I didn't do what I wanted to do on Tuesday and Monday. I'm a failure. I fucking failed this week. But or you could be like, every day's a new beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I have the power to do the things that I haven't done, and I don't need as much time as I think I do. So let me
Absolutely.
just sit down and do some of the things that I haven't done and move that energy rather than judging myself for the energy that has yet to be moved, you know? So it's feels like there's potential to collaborate with language in a way that serves your soul, body, and spirit, because your soul, body, and spirit hears these things that you communicate to yourself. Your use of words.
Oh yeah. Like,
You know?
You know how often I'll catch myself saying, "I'm a fucking piece of shit."
all the time. I'm on that train too all the time.
Why would we do that? It's such a fucking curse. We're praying to the devil.
Yeah.
I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
What? Like,
Yeah.
think about what you're literally saying.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking piece of shit. I'm
Yeah.
excrement.
Yeah.
You know? And, I mean, and it's like,
Something
in a
I
way
don't
I
want.
am, but like, not the way I'm putting it when, like, yeah, I think that if you're relating with that, I think that comes from the perfectionist in us. I grew up around my mom. No matter what, she'll get on the computer. She's just cursing under her breath, fucking cursing technology, cursing humanity, cursing like this like underlying tension, because I think there's a resistance to doing the shadow work and making friends with all that stuff. And I think that's tough work for people to even begin to embark on, because it's super scary, because it's a process of letting go of a bunch of negative stories that actually maybe got you where you are.
Yeah, no, our shadows can
Yeah.
perch us up, right?
Yeah, and part of, I think, coming up, not just like on a day-to-day basis or on psychedelics, but when you're coming up in life and when you're trying to rise to an occasion, and there's all of this self-doubt coming out, the language that you use to rise to that occasion, you know, is like your vault.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Damn.
Is there some good language we could bring into today, like as like maybe a mantra or something that we could have stick with us today, Wednesday?
You know what's a word that that sends me warm feelings is abundance. That's like at least I've made it a powerful word for me, because I think when I'm getting scared, it's just as simple as that. It's like, am I in the scarcity mindset right now? Or can I switch it over to abundance? And even that word just feels like perfect for what it is. Abundance. And there's an abundance of everything we need all the fucking time.
Yeah, I think that's really important too, because what you're saying also is like ends by putting around abundance and not lack. So your body, mind, soul only hears what you say. So you really want to put this in the context of like, I see abundance, I am abundance, abundance is around me, rather than I don't want lack, I don't want a scarcity.
Yes.
What you want to do is affirm the things that you do want, especially on a Wednesday.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think talking from the place where you want to be instead of talking about the place where you want to be is also a lot of what I remind myself.
Can you give us an example? Because I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, even just, I think starting out on new skill sets, like when I started out on my podcast, and just I hadn't really done a ton of like improv piano work, basically. You know, I'd done a bunch of like memorizing songs and just stepping up to that plate and being like, okay, instead of like, how do I acquire this? Just sitting down and being like, oh, I already know how to do this. And being in that place and being in that person and coming from that.
Yep.
Which
That's
is
what we're
maybe
doing with this.
a little bit more action oriented than language oriented. But yeah, fake it till you make it is it's been so useful for me and so many of my journeys in life. And so many of my journeys in life.
Yeah.
Because there is always going to be a chasm between our timelines, between where you are and where you have to be, and it's up to you to close that. It's always up to you to close that.
Yeah.
And I think we talk about the keys, and I think language a lot of times feels like the key. And sometimes with our monkey mind, it's like we have too many. We're like carrying janitor keys, and we can't figure out which ones goes into different locks. And for me, like dropping into a deeper language of like heart space language, where it's not vocabulary and it's not something that has to be worked out in your intellectual mind space, and knowing that there's a language and there's a voice going through there, is really what centers me a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that voice doesn't get freaked out the way our monkey brain does. Yeah. I mean,
it's like a deeper language.
It's crazy.
Like a steadier beat.
And it doesn't go away. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think with some of these psychedelics that you could hit yourself so hard that it kills the voice beyond voices. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't, as far as I've ever been.
There's always a voice beyond the voices.
There's always and it's always kind of like pulsating the same thing. It's like, it's okay. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. It's
Yeah.
okay.
And
this too.
Yeah, and I think being intentional with our media consumption too, because
Yeah.
the language that we're surrounding ourselves with, whether it's the podcast that you listen to or the music that you listen to or the stuff on the radio, and not just what people are saying, but how they're saying it and what they're thinking when they're saying it, because we're digesting all of that too, whether you're aware of it or not.
Yeah.
You know,
The
you're getting
food.
all of it. The food, we talked about that. The
Yeah,
food
we
too.
were saying, like, you know, one of my friends is like, she's severely ill and she's struggled for years, and it's like the first thing you said was so on point. You're like, she needs someone that loves her making her food.
Yeah.
You know, like, not takeout,
Yeah.
not fucking meatball parm.
Yeah.
If you're gonna eat that fucking bullshit meatball parm, have your fucking husband make it.
Totally.
Have it be a thing. Have it be a ritual.
Totally.
Maybe that meatball parm can heal you.
That's so funny because I definitely had a download because I used to be very judgmental about food. Like, oh, you're making people sick. You're making your family sick by what you feed them. And I just like had a aha on mushrooms because I was like, it was causing me to like judge the people I love most,
Yeah.
you know, like, oh, well, they're not as healthy as me. But I realized like, no, I mean, of course you don't want to have super processed foods and excessive salts and sugars and whatever, but it really is like, are you receiving it with love? Are you giving it with love? And like knowing that the people that we love and our friend who, you know, any friend we have who is sick is like, it's just about less like the exact ingredients because we don't know. But we do know how powerful the vibration of love is and how that kind of seeps into things on a cellular and consciousness level. And we very likely aren't the only things with consciousness, you know?
Yeah, there's a whole nother data set that the religion of science doesn't pay attention to, you know, which is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
There's a whole world of nutrition that you can't quantify, that you can't put into calories and stuff like that. And we kind of entered the conversation talking about energy because, you know, we think about nutrition as this direct correlation to energy, or at least science wants you to think that, right? But then you get into new relationships with people, or you have a new job, and you have all of this excitement, you know, brewing like a cauldron in you, and you don't have to sleep and you don't have to eat. And it's like you have a whole new life force, a whole new food system, you know? And so there's lots of different ways that we get energy and food from language and the different languages.
Damn, we're taking nutrition in, whether we know it or not, from all angles.
Oh man, all angles.
I mean, I think this is part of the reason we do a show called The Come Up is to become aware of that stuff. Is to become aware of like all the sensory input that's happening all the time, all the things that are happening that are creating your destiny, and kind of just taking a little bit more control of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, all we can do is put containers around things. So we're putting a little bit of a container around our morning.
Yeah. Why don't we use the tarot as a container?
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
You wanna you?
No, you
Me?
please.
Okay. Yeah.
Mowgli, will you sit down?
Mowgli, what kind of stardom are
Mowgli,
you seeking?
do you want to sit by me? You can come sit here. Nice, the star.
That fucking card
That's my
always
card.
seems to be at the bottom of that deck. What the fuck?
Yeah, the best part about tarot is half the time the cards fall out on you, and they tell you what you need to see and what you need to reflect on.
Totally.
So this is a collective pull for everyone as they go through their Wednesday.
Yeah, I wanted to do the tarot on Wednesday because I think about tarot as shadow work. It's listening to spirit. It's talking to spirit about things you're not really willing to look at, or at least optimally. I think that's what a lot of divination is and what tarot is. So hopefully we'll get some truth, and your own language and interpretive skills will be used to see how it applies to your own life and integrate into your own life.
There you go.
Right on. I haven't even smoked on Wake and Bake Wednesday yet.
I know I haven't even smoked yet
You
either.
guys want to hit this fucking J?
Yeah, man.
Just wanted to make sure I didn't
Right.
disappoint Hermes, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
We got
I
some
had
of the
to read-
words
I had
out.
to read that hymn. Only messed up a couple times.
We wouldn't have known. Maybe you should have kept that language. Oh, a whole deck fell out on us.
Shit.
The lovers.
It's too many cards, spirit.
We're just looking for one.
Yeah, I just need one right now.
I'm
I'm gonna pull if it doesn't come out. I'm a little bit of a chaos magician, so I like if I can get it to fly out on me. I like to get it to fly out on me.
Spirit wanted to pull one out for every person who's watching.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, it's
Sorry.
good at what it wants to talk. Sometimes I come into your house and this tarot deck is like cold as ice. It's Elsa over here, the ice queen. Can't
Yeah.
even touch it.
You were even saying, you're like, these cards are so stiff. I'm
Like
I don't know.
glued together.
Yeah.
that tarot deck has gotten a lot of use. It's our second one.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Dun 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 dun. 7 of Cups. Well, let me hold this up a little bit closer too so you can see it. This card is about having a lot of things on your plate, so I don't never think of it as a negative thing, but it is a little bit of dazed of confused energy. It's a little bit looking up into the clouds, all of these idyllic possibilities and things to come, but not really having the ability to bring them down and solidify them into an earthly element. So yeah.
For me, like as we're out of Mercury in retrograde this
Yes,
week, it feels
yes,
like
yes,
a new
yes, yes,
beginning,
yes.
and we have like a lot of opportunities, and it kind of like that card reminds me of like the wealth of choices and opportunities we're able to make, you know. So it's like I love that we're starting this show on February 22nd, 222. We're leaving Mercury retrograde, and we kind of have this like abundance of opportunity. And it's all good, as Noah would say.
It's all good. And I like, whenever I do tarot, I always notice different things about the cards every time that I pull. And I'm just looking at this, and it looks like literally a shadow.
That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna
is
say.
looking at all of your options. And so it's interesting to talk about, like, okay, the language that your own shadow uses to talk about the opportunities that are to come and the things that are coming up.
Yeah.
You know?
There's like a snake in there.
It
And
looks like a mushroom, one of those
There's a
things.
dragon. We had a dragon sink this week.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
cool.
Very
Yeah.
much.
Keep your eye out for dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're coming. They're around. They're lurking.
I'm the year of the dragon.
Yeah,
That
the
means
dragon.
something.
Yeah.
88. This was a fun one.
Fucking great time.
Perfect for Hermes in a Mercury retrograde.
Wonderful.
Yeah. I hope we honored Hermes. And
Thank you,
we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Hasta mañana.